Okay. L'chaim.
I'm talking with the children. Next week.
All right, this week's parsha, we have the parsha of the Masot. All counts all the 42 places Am Yisrael camped. All right. So now the all the Chasidic Sfarim bring in the name of the Baal Shem Tov. All right. That just like Am Yisrael went to 42 Masos, so too every neshama has to go through 42 Masos. Got to travel, got to move. Right? So every
neshama travel more time faster.
That's what they say. Name of the Baal Shem Tov. Every neshama has to do 42 Masos. Right? Maybe it doesn't all have to be in the same Gilgul, and also what qualifies as a Masa. You know, okay, we don't know that, but just understand that the principle, right? The idea of the Masos. Now, Kayadua, that the Masos, there were 42. So, Shteit in Sfarim, it's connected to Shem Mem Beis, which is the Rashi Tevis of Ona B'Koch Kedus Mincha Tata Tzura, that in that shame is Muramis Oyin of Shvira Sakelim, right? Which is the whole, the whole, everything that's wrong with the world, right, is called Shvira, right? It's called Shvira and it's called Misa, and then we're going to discuss what the two have to do with each other. I mean, so now in Baba Kama it says, that a bor, you're potter on shvira sakelim in a bor, right? A meisham, avsham shor chamor shor v'ladam chamor v'lo kelim. So the Gemara asks, well, listen, on a bor, let's say a person falls in a bor and he dies, you're potter on him. Right? You don't have to pay his value to the Yarshim, but if he breaks his legs, you're chayiv. You're chayiv on Nezikin. So Gemara says, just like an Adam, the Ptur is only on Misa, not on Nezek. So Kalim also, why don't you pay? So Gemara says, Shvirasam, Kalim Shvirasam Zui Misasam. By Kalim, Shvira is Misa. That's what's called a Kli is dead. It's broken. By an Adam, it could be a difference that he's only a broken leg, but he's still alive. Kalim, Shvirasam Zumi Sasam, and the Mekubalim quote that Gemara and Baba Kama to explain. On one hand, we call it Shvira Sakelim, all the Kilkulim they're all called Shvira Sakelim, and in another place in Zohar it's called Misas Melachim Kadmoyin, right? That the death of the seven or 8 kings, they're at the end of Parshat Yisach, Vayimlach Vayamos, the Malchi Edom. Well, we're talking about Kalim, Shvirasam Zui Misasam. There's no difference between Shvira and Misa when you're talking about a Kli. And those Melachim Shemochu Beretz Edom, Melachim Beretz Bnei Yisrael are Kalim. Right? They're connected to Kalim. Right? So now these are a lot of Kabbalistic ideas, but I do want to say something that can be understood b'derech pshat. Right? Another thing that we have in this week's parasha is the din of Horek Nefesh B'Shgoga. His chayiv goes. Right? His chayiv goes. Now, how's that a midah connected midah? Now he killed. Now he didn't kill on purpose, but he killed. Right? No, yeah, but he's chayiv to live in Ori Mikla. He has to leave it, and if he already lived in Ori Mikla, he has to go to a different Ir Mikla. He can't live. He's chayiv in goes. That's the din on the Horek Nefesh B'Shgoga. Right? Ir Mikla is not just for his protection. Even if there's no Go Adam, he's still chayiv to relocate. He goes into goes. His chayiv goes.
What happened? Any punishment for a shogeg is chayiv. It's a midah.
Right. No.
If a person doesn't do anything on purpose, how does the punishment?
So let's say Chil Shabbos B'Shogeg, we understand because he wasn't thinking. Right? Because that he's makriv a korban of a behemoth that doesn't think because his body right? And so he elevates the Chelik HaBahami. That's how he was able to just go and not remember that Shabbos. Right? No. So by korbanos we understand. Right, his body, he wasn't thinking. Right, so connected that he used makriv a behema that doesn't think, to elevate it. and merge it, just like to merge his nefesh bahami, it shouldn't be that way again. That you should live life without thinking, like an animal. Right?
So he takes the nefesh bahami
and elevate it.
Spiritual life.
Right. Connected how his bahamius was. He walked around without thinking. He didn't think, and he turned on the light on Shabbos. Right? But over here, his horig nefesh, he goes in golus. He doesn't bring a carbon. He goes in golus. Right? Because there's two different dinim. We'll first say it halachically, and then we'll explain it hashkafically. There's two different dinim, in the terrible thing of murder. Right? There's A, the aggression. Right? And then there's B, the loss of life. There's the aggression and there's loss of life. And these are two separate evils. Very interesting that the Rambam in Hilchos Ritzicha brings separate psukim. There's certain psukim that the roidef is chayiv misa, you have to kill the roidef, midin v'katzosas kappa lo sachol seinecha. Katzosas kappa mitzvah saseh, don't have no rachmanas on him. It's mitzvah, asur bim rachman roidef. And that's all mitzad punishing the roidef, right? Because he's a menace. And then there's also a din of hatzola, which is not from other psukim. The chiyuv to just save a life, but there's different psukim. The psukim of mamash be against the roidef and kill him if necessary, and there's psukim of ve'im moshi Allah, right? That the woman needs a moshia, save her, and from rape it's learnt over through a hekesh to murder. That just like by to save a woman from oinus, nitan latzil b'nafshos. Also, it's a din hatzola, and there's a din to hurt the rodef, and because there's two different things. There's A, how he's a menace, and mitzad that there's a din of lo tachos and I have no rachmas on him. There's a din of hatzola. There's a din of hatzola, and that's mitzad saving the life, that the life shouldn't be lost. You see? Yeah. So the right. So now, if a person so now you understand the difference between shogig and mezid by Ritzicha. If a person's rotziach b'mezid, of course it's chayiv misas bezdin, right? Because of how he's a menace, right? If a person is horeg b'shkoga, he's not a menace, but there's still a life lost. There's still a life lost.
So what does Galus
What?
Why does Galus
So I'll explain what the midah keneged midah is. A davar nifla ma'od. Nifla ma'od. Right? When we say a life is lost, is it really, really lost? Right?
Back to the Gilgal.
Right? He's out there. The neshama's out there. He's out there. He's out there. He's just not where he was originally. You displaced him. But he's out there. You can't kill his neshama. Like if it's a person who's chayiv misa anyway, like a low life and apikaris, you don't go to Golos, a guy who's like has no right to live anyway. Right? So Pshat is, he's out there. He's just not in his right place. Right? You displaced him. Right? Connected that, you got to go in Golos also. Right? Because nothing good is lost, it just gets displaced. Right? Right? So connected that also. So if you'd be a menace, you have to go. You're not a menace. You did b'shoigig, not b'mezid. But you still cause damage. What's the damage? Displacement. So you have to be displaced also. Right? Adam Arishan brought Misa to the world. But he did it b'shoigig. The Nachash taught him, condiments eating from Yetzadas. What was Adam Arishan's goals? He was exiled from Gan Eden. Right? Because that's it. Because Misa is displacement. Right? Right? So now there's Chet Arishan that, and we say that the all kilkulim are shvira sakelim. And then now you can understand, because by shvira there's fragmentation. The fragments are still out there. They're out there. And we're taught matter could be neither created nor destroyed. The problem is that they're not together. They're displaced. They're not in the same. All the chalakim, all the shivrei kelim are not together. They're mefuzar or mefaret. Right? And that's golus. Right? So now you can understand. The Ognash B'shkoga displaced the life, but that neshama's not gone. And Riboshim could give him a new goof, but you displaced him. Right? you pulled the pieces apart, you pulled the pieces out of place. Right? And when we do chatoim, that's also what we do. When we do chatoim, Rahman al like Chet Adam Rishon, which set the tone for chatoim, is that he brought the ra into the tov. Right? There was like the nefesh das tov ra, das loshen connection. The tov and ra got mixed. So if the ra penetrates and ra comes to the tov, so then the tov that the ra infiltrates gets displaced. And that's golus, right? So like also in the national, right? The Romans overran; they penetrated Eretz Yisrael where they don't belong. They penetrated the Beis Hamikdash where they don't belong. And connected that the Shechina and Am Yisrael went into golus. Right? And it's all because of our chatoim. Because every time we do a chet, that's exactly what we do. We cause the sitracha to get stronger, and when it gets stronger, it means it trespasses into an area, a realm where it wasn't meant to be, because we increase its power. And then connected that, the nitzotzos of tov have to make room for it, and they get displaced. Right? So now the Indian of the masos is the tikkun. Golus is not just stam and onish; it's also the tikkun. Gemara says in Yevamis, "Lo hugliso ben ha'umus el kidei shitvasvu aleim gerim." The reason why we went to Golus is that we should collect gerim along the way. People see Jews, get impressed, and they're megayer because it's a Gemara. So shtei nisvarim, because with our chatoim, right, we cause the nitzotzos to go into Golus, and then there's like kedusha and neshamas of kedusha that are by the goyim. And when we go into Golus, we pick them up, we collect them, and we're bringing them back. And that was all present in the masos. The masos, right? The masos happened, as a result of cheta ego and cheta meraglim. Because if not for cheta meraglim, we've gone straight into Eretz Yisrael. So because of that, we increased the mitzias of the ra in the world. And so already that door laid down the idea of the membes masos, connected the shvira sakem to undo the shvira. Because the going to Golus is not just stam and onesh, but it's also a tikkun. Because now you're going to go and collect those sparks. You cause a shvira and cause fragmentation and cause things to scatter. You're going to have to pick the pieces up. You have to go pick up the pieces. And that's what the masos are all about. And that's why every neshama has to go through masos. And that's the side of what the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah Daf Hey. Omer Reish Lakish, Bo Nachzik Tov Lavasedu, She'u Molei Chatu Anu Kamishal Banu Lolam. We should be Makir Tova to Adam Rishon, and we Makir Tova to the people who made the ego. If not for them, we'd never been born. Right? Now, what does that mean? Poshut, right? Because Mashiach would have come immediately, right? We were born to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, but isn't our neshama niflal?
No, so we wouldn't have been. You wouldn't have been Yoni Siba. You would have just existed as how you're nichlal in Adam Rishon if you wouldn't have sinned.
So what's wrong with that though?
Nothing. Well, now you have. I mean, if you. That's right. Because you could go on that banana and flip over, and you couldn't have done that, right? If right, you couldn't have gone to the Poconos if you've been nichla on Adam Rishon, right? Yeah, of course that's not the real reason, but that's what I mean. Because all the Doris are there to pick up the pieces. All the Doris came to pick up the pieces, right? If it wouldn't have been a chayte, there wouldn't have been as many Jews in the world. Wouldn't have needed them. Now we need so many Jews to pick up the pieces. And that's in every Jew has to go through Membes Masos because of Chet Adam Rishon, and then after that with Chet Ego, it's like it's the long journey of picking up the pieces.
So what happens if the Jew with one of the is breaking the pieces even more?
Yeah.
Creating even more pieces.
No, so now that's how you explain an interesting Chazal. The Chazal talk about a very interesting thing. Zacha noto chelko b'chelek chavero b'Gan Eden. If you're talking, you get your chelek and chelek of the other guy in Gan Eden. What do you mean? If you did a lot of mitzvahs, it's 100% your chelek. If you did a lot of mitzvahs, it's 100% yours. Well, what's the Gemara? What are Chazal talking about? Pshat is like this. He was meant to pick up these pieces, right? He goofed off. So you pick up his job also. So of course you own it because you did the work, but you're picking up a job that someone else is supposed to do. It was supposed to be his chelik in Gan Eden, but he goofed off. So now you're going to do his job for him also.
So that's why Tzaddikim have such a big chelik in Gan Eden.
Yes, that's what you're saying. There's a kind of noto chelko v'chelik kavod Gan Eden. They pick up. You could pick up someone else's pieces that he was born to pick up, but he goofed off. So someone's got to do it. It's called that he goofed off and he missed it. He missed the boat, or he missed his chelik. Right? Right, that's it. Every neshama has members masos. Everyone has their chelik, like kol yisrael shem chelk lo mabo. Same idea. Everyone's got a job. Everyone, chelik, very good. Yo chapit, chelik. You got to pick up those chalakim of the coal that got scattered. Right? That's why we read this parsha, during the 3 weeks. Golus. Because of our verse, we went into Golus. Because our verse caused the Sitra Achra to invade the space of the Sitra de Kedusha, which also causes aspects of Sitra Kedusha to get displaced. And so not only do we get thrown into Golus as a Onesh, Mida Keneged Mida, and that's what it means. HaKadosh was Motzi Chamosal Eitzim Va'avonim. Because he gave us a din of Shogeg, not a din of Mezid. Because Mezid, right, like a Rotzeach b'Mezid. A Shogeg said, well, you displaced the Neshama, you get displaced. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Shem Baracham of V'chasar gave us a din of Shogeg and not a din of Mezid. And that's why we get Golus. But it's also the opportunity to pick up the pieces and bring everything back. Pick up the piece and bring everything back, right? It's not just the onesh; it's also the process of bringing things back, and that's what tshuva also is about. You know, tshuva is you did a chet, you screwed up, you can do tshuva. So it's interesting that Chazal darshan 2 things for the same positive. Tov yashar Hashem, al kein yorach Hashem is good and just, and therefore he directs sinners on the path. So Chazal, it's a pasuk I believe in Tehillim. Chazal learn out 2 different things from it. One thing is the din of Orei Miklat. Hashem is so kind that Yorech HaTorah, that's all you have to put signposts, Orei Miklat there, right? Now it has to be like really good someone, not like just Yashar Tishal Shama, right? You don't forget that, right? You have to be like really good signposts that you know how to get there. So that's why Yorech HaTorah. Then in Lashon Chazal is that it's tshuva. Who gave us tshuva? Because it comes from the same shurish, that the Indian of going to Gos is to pick up the pieces, right? The Indian of tshuva works. Zok the Zohar, tshuva is milashim tashuv hey, because when we do chatoim, we break off the final hey from the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. Rahman San, that final hey is keged the midah called Shechina, and we make Shechina to go into Gos, Shechinta begalusa. Tshuva is tashuv hey, nimkoma. With the koch of tshuva, we pick up the pieces and make what broke off come back and reconnect. Right? That's how why golus and tshuva go together.
That's right.
Right?
Of is Elul, and of is Elul Vav.
Right? Yeah. Ketzer. So that's what we need to understand, that our Averis cause a displacement of the Kedusha, like Harag Nefesh B'Shkoga, so he's not a menace, he did it B'Shogeg, right, but he displaced the soul, right, and connected that he has to go in Golos, but the Golos is not just it's not just a Onesh, because the guy after all did it B'Shogeg, it's the Tikkun, he's going to pick up the pieces, and that's the end of the Masos, that Amit's already in the desert, because after they did the Chet Egon, they did the Chet Meraga, because okay, you're going to be 40 years in the desert. During that time, they laid down the precedent of the end of the Masos, that travel to pick up the pieces. Travel to pick up the pieces.
That's why there's so many wandering Jews.
That's right. That's why Jews have reached the whole, everywhere in the world.
So the Masos, there is the same kind of the money covered.
Not only a cover of protection when you're on the Masa. Kodesh who protects you. Like a Kodesh Baruch who gave the Ori Miklat for the guy who's in Golus. You're protected. right? A certain level of protection, right? Because Hakadosh Baruch Hu should help, right? Right, shouldn't have to be that much longer. We spoke out at this 4th of July drasha about Rav Chaim Volozhiner. That really is what Rav Chaim Volozhiner meant to say. You know, it's a word from the Baal Shem Tov. Everybody tries to do 42 masos. Rav Chaim Volozhiner said it a little bit differently. Torah has to go into Golis. Torah is masos. The last masa is going to be America. Rav Chaim Volozhiner said it.
Sure.
It's documented. Chaim Volozhiner said the last
America
Golis.
was around then?
No, he had just become an independent country a little bit before. And that's why everyone looked at him like he was crazy. I mean, it was like a new country. Right? They had just, kicked the limeys in the butt, right? Dumped the tea in the harbor, right? Right?
Plus, the Tea Party was.
Yeah, right? They just dumped the tea in the harbor. And and that's, and Chaim Volozhiner said it's going to be the last masa of where Torah goes. After that, it's called we picked up all the pieces. We already were everywhere. All right, but it's the hardest one. It is the hardest one. We're up against the liberals. All right? Lo pashut. All right, but this is the final standoff. You got to get through here and pick up the sparks that are here. All right, Hashem Yizakenu. All right, we should finish this goes, Bimhera, Mashiach should come, Tekef Umiyad Mamish.
Amen.